Thank you for tuning into This is Friendship, the podcast. We're so grateful that you're following along with all of our guest episodes. And I am beside myself excited to have Jasmine with the Good Life Charcuterie on our episode today. Jasmine is absolutely stunning inside and out, and she has graciously a little bit about her business and how she made her way to Nebraska and just all of the growth that she has had and all of the success that she's had over the last year to a year and a half. If you have a chance, follow her on Instagram. She posts beautiful, and it's been super exciting to see all of her growth. But in addition to that, it's also been wonderful to get to know her over the last couple of months as well. So without further ado, here is Jasmine. Welcome to the episode.
Thank you for having me. I am so excited to be on here and to speak with you today. So thank you so much.
Absolutely. We're super happy that you're here. I can't wait to dive in. Love to start these episodes with just a little bit about your journey, how you transitioned and moved into developing Good Life Charcuterie. The question is, tell us about your journey, story, and the development of Good Life Charcuterie.
Yes, I will say it goes years back. I have always wanted to be an entrepreneur, but I think I needed to do a lot of self-development along the way. This is one of many business attempts I've done, but I think, like I said, I wanted to grow as an individual, and I loved charcuterie. I never really thought much about it. Whenever I had a family party, or I was always gifting charcuterie or grazing tables. My family, we express love through food. And again, didn't even realize that was a thing until the Good Life Charcuterie came about. And last year was chaos, and for all of us, I will say. And I couldn't really get out of the house. I was living in Virginia Beach at the time. My partner, we're now in Nebraska, Omaha, where he's from. But I wasn't able to visit a lot of friends, but I would always send them charcuterie. Like, I miss you. I hope all is well. Happy birthday. And then we moved here to Omaha. Like I said, he's from Omaha, and he was getting out of the military. We thought it was a good move, a new change of scenery. So we traveled, I think it was 20 hours from Virginia Beach to here. And I wanted to do something, and I didn't know what it was. And so I started making charcuterie I think I did it for Christmas, actually. And his family came over. They loved it. And I had a long talk with my partner. He said, this is something that you may not realize, but you light up when you do this. Why don't you just do this as a side gig? Just do it to get out of the community, even though you really can't right now, but you can send boxes to people. And so we initially started off charcuterie as the charcuterie boxes. I wasn't thinking about grazing tables. It was just one step at a time at that moment. And December 17th, I was like, we moved December 17th. And within 2 weeks, or almost 2 weeks, December 31st, I was like, okay, I'm going to make this a legal thing and just put my heart into it. And I did. I'm not used to the snow here. Omaha is a very snowy place. And so I wasn't able to get out of the house, but everyone that was here, I started posting on social media how to make salami roses. And I would go on live and make boards with people. You can do this too. And for me, it was my saving grace to connect with a new crowd, but also refine my voice. I don't know if you've seen, I was really sick when I left Virginia Beach. It was like a whole stomach gut thing. And so I was resetting my entire life, mind, body, and spirit. And so the Good Life Charcuterie catapulted that. And the rest is history. And we've grown so much, and I'm just so grateful for Omaha accepting me. I'm glad that I'm a transplant here. I wouldn't see my life anywhere. I couldn't see myself being anywhere different at this point. But yeah, it was just one step at a time. And I always told the universe, what's meant for me will happen. I just have to trust the universe. And it's amazing how other people can see your potential, but you can't until you actually get to that point. So.
Absolutely. I'm so glad that you pushed through, because when people are outside of you and they see the light that you provide, I think sometimes you never know what that impact is. So I'm just here today to tell you that it even leaps through all of the things that you post on social media. It's just, I think people are absolutely drawn to you and you absolutely attract all of the success that's happening for you. We've had coffee conversations, but you've never really, that's why I love these episodes, because I never really got to hear how much of a passion this is for you and how it is that little internal voice that kind of, and of course your partner as well, nudging you and pushing you to take those steps and to take those first side hustle experiences and then making it into what it is. So that's super exciting. Second question, what do you strive to deliver on in your level of service? So your level of service is impeccable. When we originally sat down, you said you're a servant leader and service is a big component to you. What do you strive for?
That's a good question. A lot of it is service. I will say I'm very particular with the Good Life Charcuterie, so we do want a standard of luxury of you're not going to get this anywhere else. And as we grow our team, we're all very methodical. We all bring these beautiful aspects of, whoa, this is great, but also being a community-driven person, I want to also tie in our community. We do a lot of community action related projects. We work with community kids. I also work with the Nourish Collective, and where I'm able to put the Good Life Charcuterie in our events and provide charcuterie to just help the Omaha community as much as we can. And to be honest, especially in small business, your community is what can make or break you in most cases. And so we're very grateful that I was not expecting Omaha to be so supportive and uplifting. And it blows my mind to this day. I'm grinning like a crazy person here because I'm just grateful. But the biggest thing is that sense of luxury, but also you're getting a piece of community. And I was telling a friend this the other day where I love doing grazing tables. And when I finish, especially if it's for a bridal shower or a wedding or a birthday party, everyone comes together and you hear these conversations of how was your day and how are you feeling? And they're all surrounded by the grazing table, just reflecting on life and showing love to one another. And that is a beautiful thing that isn't monetary. It's something that you can feel from the heart. I think that's, if not the biggest thing for me.
Absolutely. So like the celebration of life, people are having grazing tables for birthdays, for anniversaries, for work events, for so many things. And it's truly bringing people together, like you mentioned at the top of the episode. I am always continually impressed with how supportive you are of small businesses and your marketing prowess and your genius in terms of blending things together. Be Yourself Boutique. I've seen just posts and collaborations with so many local businesses here in Omaha. I certainly find that admirable. And I think you do a phenomenal job of not only growing your business, but you're promoting all the small businesses that are around you. So
yes, and going along with that, even down to our food, we're transitioning right now. We're probably at 90%, but everything that we use is local. So sometimes people will say, oh, I thought I would get this certain fruit, but as seasons change, what the local farmers has changes as well. And just during this time of COVID and just seeing businesses that have been here for decades, or these people's passions are gone in an instant from loss of service and support, we really have to work with each other right now. And I would hope others would do the same for me. But at the end of the day, when people talk about the Good Life Charcuterie, I want them to say, okay, Jasmine is a community person. She's not here to just take business and leave. It's much more than that. We really need to work with each other right now. So I'm just happy to be able to work with these businesses because everyone brings something so beautiful to the table.
sure. What is a typical day in the life for Good Life Charcuterie or for you? What is a typical day? Is there a typical day? Probably
chaos. No, I'm kidding. It is a little chaotic to some extent, but I usually start my day really early. I start my day at 5. I go through emails. Right now, I am transitioning to only work 9 to 5 and do as much as I can just so I can have more time for me, because that was the biggest point of being an entrepreneur, is making time for myself. But I try to have my morning tea, try to do meditation, listen to a podcast. I'm a very spiritual person, and go through emails, go through my schedule. I have to have everything on a schedule or I will forget. And then I'll go through deliveries and see who, we have a few people doing deliveries. I make sure they're all good. We'll have a quick little team meeting I feel like I am always trying to inspire everyone and pump them up and to say, you got this. And then, so that's probably by 8:30 a.m. And then we go to the office. We have consultations for either weddings or big events. Make sure that's great. And then we'll try to break for lunch, but the day goes by so quickly. And then as the trends change, we have meetings as well. So our social media director, she comes at a certain point to make sure all the deliveries are great. And then at the moment, most of our grazing tables are in the evening or on the weekends. From 3 onward until we're finished, that's usually grazing table time. So it's a go. And then on the days we don't have grazing tables, I'm either at local farms, scouting the next fresh veggies and fruits, like a talent agent. I don't know why I said it like that. And I also do deliveries. So we get our honey. Gosh, I can't remember where we get our honey, but it's like a 2-hour drive from here. So I like making the trek out there to get our honey and just go to their farm, see how they're doing. And I try to, lately we've been doing a lot of traveling to see what the upcoming trends are. I try to see what's on the East and West Coast because the trends usually trickle in. So at this very moment, it's been a lot of traveling and a lot of deliveries and making grazing tables. Um, Going through the ebbs and flows of business, we barely make grazing boxes at all anymore. It's all about grazing tables and things like that. It's crazy. I feel like I can blink and then it's 8 o'clock at night.
It sounds like you balance all of it really well.
I try.
It sounds like it. You touched on our next question. When we sat down and had coffee a while back, you had mentioned you're constantly innovating and you're constantly wanting to, you just mentioned, bring things from the coasts here to Omaha, which I think is huge. If you can share, if you are in a position where you want to share, because I know sometimes you have some things brewing and you can't quite share right away. I guess my question is, what's on the horizon for Good Life Charcuterie?
So right now, I'm quite the nerd. I always go through this scientific analytics, and someone did a study. And the next thing is pairings of wines and cheeses, craft beers and cheeses. So right now we're working with a lot of local craft breweries and pairing with them so we can do more. Instead of pop-ups, we can go there and say, these are the best cheeses for this beer. And it's really fun, and it opens up charcuterie to a whole different crowd. I think a lot of people think charcuterie is these fancy events and you have to wear like a ball gown and you have to have your pinky out. It's like, no, it can be for any and everyone. And opening up to that craft brewery crowd it's fun and it's different. And it also teaches me things. I was not a beer drinker until recently. And so just learning what pairs well with that and just, again, opening the floor for conversation for new things. And so that's the biggest thing. And again, I'm always learning and I'm always brewing things. So I think that's the biggest thing I can share right now.
Very fun. You had mentioned kind of some trends and with traveling, are there specific things, and maybe this falls under the can't quite share yet category, but I'm just curious, like the picnic, the pop-up picnics has been something that has come from the coast. Are there other things or trends maybe that you're seeing that are coming down the road, maybe for holiday or next spring, or I guess where is it transitioning to, or what's new? What's on the horizon?
So charcuterie is, I don't like saying this, but it's going to be very popular for only a certain amount of time. And so we have hired a chef just to incorporate high class dining with charcuterie, for instance, stuffing of chicken with brie. So the next thing is high class dining. Also with the picnics, which is wild to me. Picnics were very popular. I'm from Virginia Beach, so that was something we did for, I think, almost 2 years. And then I came here and I saw all these places booming. I was like, man, if only I would have known, but that wasn't meant for me. That was meant for someone else. And I'm trying to think of what else is there. Elopement weddings with charcuterie's coming. So a lot of people are having small weddings where it's just either them and their mothers and fathers and a small collective of people and having charcuterie. So that's another thing which I'm very excited about. We've been working with a few wedding vendors just to have an elopement package. So that's something that I think by April of 2022, we'll hear more about
That.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. That is certainly in line with, I think, just what has transpired over the last year and a half, because weddings have shifted from these big, huge, high attendance events to now just smaller elopements, micro weddings, mini weddings, that, from that perspective. So it's exciting to see how the catering and the food and kind of the beverage shifts and adjusts and is made special for those events as well. So I'm excited to see more of that. I'm excited to see more of that.
And I think going off with that, at the end of the day, even though we have been inside a lot, everyone loves hosting and everyone loves food. As an encouraging word to all the caterers or food businesses, it's just learning how to adapt to this new environment. It's very fast paced. And sometimes my mom says, you're a little crazy starting a business in the middle of a pandemic, but it taught me to acclimate to whatever is going to happen next. And everyone will always need food, and people will always find a way to host, even if it's behind closed doors in their own home for a personal thing.
Sure. And to modify and adjust and adapt,
Yes.
I think that's so cool. That's so huge. You're right on in line with all of the questions that I had lined up. So I had, what are the hottest trends and events right now, which I think you answered, unless there's any additional ones in relation to the elopement.
I think the biggest thing is the elopements, and we're going to see a lot of people doing destination weddings for just themselves and maybe a few friends and family, and then they'll just have an easy spread. And I love that. And so I think that's the biggest thing that will be coming soon.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's absolutely awesome. Okay, so transitioning now to, it is September. It's early September here in Omaha, and which is truly autumn to me. So late August is autumn to me. So I'm starting to think more about the holidays that are coming up.
Yeah.
Not that we're trying to fast forward through this beautiful weather of the fall, but how will you holiday with your clients for Thanksgiving and Christmas? So will the boards shift? How will you holiday with your clients?
Yes, I will say I love fall. It's my time to thrive, down to the fashion and the food. But we're getting new fruits and vegetables. And I always tell people too, we go to local farmers markets. So even week by week, the boards or the grazing tables may change, just seeing what they have available. But a lot of pumpkin, um, gosh, I'm getting excited now. And a lot of more seeds. And for instance, gosh, there's like a certain pear that's so good at the farmer's market here that I've been adding to every board. Even if someone's like, I don't know about pears, I'm like, oh, it's on your board, try it. But we're trying to acclimate to each season. I think the biggest thing is fall, and then Thanksgiving, and then Christmas. And so for Christmas, I don't want to share anything. I have a lot of big surprises. But for Thanksgiving, we're working with Chef Joel Haslani. He is fantastic. And we've been going through the menu of, especially for the grazing tables, we want a fine dining experience. So we're going to have a lot more meats like turkey and things like that. And I feel like that's all I can really share.
Absolutely. I'm laughing a little bit because I had a feeling that I was probably moving into territory that wasn't shareable, but I'm just on pins and needles to see what you're going to do next.
I love just sharing my excitement for this, and I love seeing people excited, and I love food. And so in the season, especially the latter seasons of the year, it's all about family and community and love. And with the climate that we're in, we really need that. So that was when we made a mood board for everything. And I was like, I know that this isn't food related, but like, how can we infuse family and community and togetherness in all of these boards? So we really took the time to meditate and pray and just see, okay, this is what we want. So when we are able to share that, I hope that everyone is able to see the message we were trying to convey. And that's all I can say.
Okay. No, that was enough of a teaser for us, enough of a cliffhanger to keep us all, me specifically, just tuned in and excited. And you never disappoint in terms of your ideas and your innovation. And I love from a foodie perspective, it's what brings everybody together. And so it sounds like there's deep mission and deep passion in that, which ties back to your service, right? That luxury, that quality, that just all of it wrapped into one, which is amazing.
Thank you.
At This is Friendship, we believe that friends and friendship make life a happier place. Please share a time when your life was made better by friendship.
I have so many. I moving here from knowing no one except one person to the friends I've made here, including you. I feel like I've met you guys in a previous lifetime. And it, just clicking with people and just being aligned with them. And you're not as alone as you think. And I know I don't do well in the winter months. So moving here, I was just really down and out. But I met my best friend here in a matter of 2 months, and just having someone push you through those things. Even with growing the Good Life Charcuterie, I had another woman owned business, fantastic. She had the idea of a grazing table, and I told her, I was like, I don't know, I've never done this. And she said, just do it at my place, see what happens, and the rest is history. And that's what happened. Having friends that believe in you even when you don't. I have to thank my success on my friends, my girlfriends, and everyone that has supported me. So yeah.
That's amazing. I like how you said you're never as alone as you think you are. And it sounds like you've had people have helped you get settled in.
Yeah.
And I'm super excited that you're here. And like I said, I'm just enjoying all of your growth and seeing what you're doing next. And I just can't wait to see what everything is, what's in store for you and what's going to happen. So
Thank you so much. And I'm the same to you. You know, one step at a time. I always say that. And then something happens. I'm like, okay, we're going to go with it. We're going to roll with it. So that's what we're doing at the Good Life Charcuterie. It's truly the good life here. It really is.
thank you, Jasmine. I appreciate your time today. Our followers would like additional information, or they would like to reach out to you, or they would like to have a grazing table, or they'd like to learn more. Is there a specific way that they can reach out to you?
Yes. So our Instagram is the Good Life Charcuterie. Our website is the same. I can't share this. We are rebranding everything with Less the Agency. They're phenomenal. So our website may not look the same as it does, but bear with us. We have a lot of surprises in the works. And then also our email, the Good Life Charcuterie. It's all the same.
Great. Thank you. And I'll add all of that to the show notes too for our listeners to take a reference to that as well. So, with that, thank you so much, Jasmine. Sending a hug to you over our little conference here today. But we're so excited for that, all that is to come for you. Thank you so much for being a part of our podcast. Thank you for sharing your story. Thank you for making an impact on everybody around you. It shines through in everything that you do. So with that, we will catch everyone in the next episode. Thank you, Jasmine, for your time, and we'll catch everyone soon. Thanks so much.